Okay, so the recording has started. So basically, let me just explain to our friends at the back. So basically, Japanese we have two of the alphabet system. Unlike English, we only have one. Japanese we have two. One is Hiragana. The other one is katakana. Purpose of Hiragana?
For expressing feelings.
Native Japanese words. Right. The katakana?
Foreign words.
Foreign borrowed words, right? So what is foreign borrowed words? For example, in Japanese, we don't say, there's no Japanese equivalent. There is, but it's not commonly used. We don't have a common expression in Japanese that's called door. So instead, Japanese people will refer door as door. Door is, as it sounds like door, which is from English word. So it is called foreign borrowed words, right? We borrow from the English language, right? So for native Japanese, we use Hiragana chart. For the foreign borrowed words, we use the katakana chart. Alright, they are all pronounced as the same way. They are all pronounced the same way. The only differences is how they are written. So if you realize katakana is a bit more sharp, hiragana is a bit more cursive. Right, that is the difference. Okay, of course we also have one more writing system which is called kanji. Right, in Chinese we say hanzi. Right, kanji means the very complicated strokes system. So that one is to conjugate, right, to compress some of the hiraganas. For example, the word hatarakimasu means to work. Hatarakimasu is 5 letters already. It's very long. So no way people are going to write it out. If we write it out, that means we need 5 times the page to write the essay. So instead of having to write so long, they will conjugate it into just one space, one character. So for example, the word hatara is actually written as one character in kanji, but it's pronounced as three separately. Okay, so that is the kanji system. So there's 3 systems that we have to learn. Along the way, you will also learn there are other systems called furigana. So furigana is just simply katakana with hiragana on top. Right, that is called furigana. Right, so I'll write it for you. What is furigana? Okay, furigana. Okay, so for example, this is one system that you might see. It is called the furigana. So for example, a word okay, this is ikimasu, right? Yeah, then some of you might say, but then ikimasu is only one i. The kanji over there only represent one sound, which is i, right? How come need to have this? Sometimes it's easier to read in kanji. For example, you go karaoke, you rather see kanji than to see hiragana, than the string of hiragana, right? So katakana, kanji plays a role in punctuating the sentence. It makes the sentence look easier to read, right? So that is one reason. For example, this is i. Then just now I said hatarakimasu, right? So hatarakimasu. You can see this is actually 4 letters, right? Hatarakimasu. So 3 letters is conjugated into 1 . Okay, so sorry, I forgot how to write, so I'm just checking how to write. Right, so this is hatarakimasu. Don't need to copy this, I'm just sharing with you. So this word alone represents hatara. Right, hatara is 3 letters, so it's conjugated into 1 letter. So this is the purpose of kanji as well. It is to make Japanese text shorter. If not, we will have very long novel already. Right? So this where we have the hiragana on top, for example, hatara, this is called the furigana system. So furigana is just an assist system to help Japanese learner understand how to pronounce certain words, how to read certain words. Right? This is called furigana. And then we have another system which is also an assist system. It is called the romaji. Right? Romaji, as you can tell, it is come from the word Roman. Right? Roman means Roman letters. Roman letters are our ABCs. So basically romaji is in ABCs. So ABCs is also to help Japanese learner understand how to read a certain words. But of course those are learning wheels. So after a while we need to remove the learning wheels. So no more romaji. Romaji is really just at the start only. Right? For example, you want to sing karaoke but you're not a Japanese speaker, so you just look at romaji to sing. Right? Okay, but romaji is just learning wheels. Okay, so the stroke order, does it matter? A wise man once said, look like the thing can already. Wise man once said. Okay, next. Also, we have long sound in Japanese. Okay, for example, in this case, we have oka-san versus okasan. Right? Oh, sorry, I mean, oka-san is mother. right? Oba-san is grandmother. This is grandmother, right? If we are talking about auntie, auntie is just simply Oba-san, right? Without the long A sound, right? So Oba-san versus Oba-san, right? Oba-san versus Oba-san. So long sound simply means a different meaning, right? So double A sound, Oba-san means grandmother. Oba-san simply means auntie. So when you're calling someone, please be careful, don't call someone grandmother. Alright? Yeah, the type of auntie will not be happy. Next, we also have long sound for katakana. I mean, they are both the same. But however, for long sound in katakana, we do not write them, or rather, we do not write this extra U. For example, if the long sound is a U. Long sound, for example, is a double A sound. We have, this is ka, this is a. Oka-san, right? Oka-a-san, there's double A sound. So for long sound for U, for example, S-O with a hyphen on top, this is written as S-O-U. So this U is actually over here, right? So this is also considered a long sound. So how to pronounce this? Kojo, right? Kojo versus kojo, kojo. Kojo and kojo is different thing, right? So same thing. For katakana, we also have long sound, but instead of, like, for example, instead of saying one more A, right? This is read as kado. This is read as kado, double A sound. But instead of writing kaado, we actually write it as a dash to represent long sound using katakana. Okay? For example, cheese, right? Instead of like adding one extra I, like cheese, we represent this E as a long sound, so we just use a hyphen will do. Right? This is how we express long sound in katakana. Moving on, we also have, okay, why am I missing pages? But oh yeah. Moving on, we also have the contracted sound. Okay, since I'm missing pages, I will use another document. Come on, why they don't let me? Okay, so other than long sound, we also have contracted sound. So contracted sound is just simply the two hiragana combined together, right? For example, hi and ya. Hi, ya, right? Hi and ya. Where is my ya? Ya is here, right? Hi, ya combined together, we contract the sound becomes kya, right? That is contracted sound. So if you remember from last week, we actually talked about the sound being one mora long. So that means one breath long, right? So ki is one breath, ya is one breath, ki ya is two breaths. So when we contract them, we make it into one breath, kya, right? Kya is one breath, right? So give me some time to download this. Okay, I maybe might not need it, right? I'll just use someone's textbook. Sorry, yeah. Then after that, we also have the sorry, yeah. So yeah, we also have the double consonant sound. Double consonant on this page. So double consonant